Hi there. Proverbs 23:17 is a terrific proverb. Listen to it. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but always be zealous for the fear of the Lord. And how many of us hear the first part of that verse and go, oh, of course I would never envy sinners. Why would I ever envy sinners? Who would do that? But we do this. Maybe not in the way we traditionally think about envy, but what about in those moments when you find yourself thinking, why does it seem like that person or those people is getting away with so much while here I am stuck trying to live a righteous life and please God? You ever do that? Which is exactly what's in view in this proverb. God's word is challenging us to not even give a singular moment of attention to whatever we might think someone else is getting away with. Why are they getting away? Why can't I get away? Don't bother, the proverb says. Don't waste your time. Because here's what's true anyway. We're only seeing a snapshot of their lives, right? We don't see what it's like when they go home at night. We don't see what's going on in their head, in their heart, in their soul. Instead, the proverb suggests an entirely different focus for we who follow Jesus. Here it is. Always be zealous for the fear of the Lord. Now, just so we're clear, the fear of the Lord isn't a trembling, shaking, quaking in your boots fear of God. It's not like that at all. Nor does the fear of the Lord mean that you carry some sort of superstitious dread of God, about God. He might strike me with light. No, not like that. So then, what is the fear of the Lord? I heard one guy put it brilliantly. He said it this way. The fear of the Lord is this reverential awe of God, which produces in us a humble submission to our loving God. Did you catch that? To be zealous for the fear of the Lord, then, is about seeing God as He really is. All of His greatness, all of His power, all of His holiness, all of His majesty, all of His everything, His love included, and then living your life to please Him. Which definitely helps put everything into perspective, doesn't it? An example of how the fear of the Lord looks in someone's life when the pressure's on comes from the life of a guy who you've heard of if you've been around the church much. His name was Joseph, Old Testament Joseph. And Joseph was a spoiled, favored young kid, wasn't he? You know the story. He gets sold by his brothers, brought as a slave to Egypt, finds himself a servant in none other than Potiphar's house himself. And one day, Potiphar's wife tries to seduce young Joseph. And Joseph's response is indicative of everything it looks like to be zealous for the fear of the Lord. Listen to what he says in Genesis 39:9. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? What's he getting at there? He's announcing that he cares far more deeply about what God thinks about him than what anyone else is doing with their lives, how they're living, what they're getting away with. He's living to please God. He's all about pleasing God. So, go be like Joseph today. Go and live your life in that same reverential awe of God that Joseph did, which produces a humble submission to our loving God. See God as He really is, all of His greatness, all of His power, all of His holiness, all of His majesty, all of His love, and live your life to please Him.